Work in the background. Sister Diane, you ready? I need to get my book. Let me grab my book. Okay. Uh-huh. Heads up, I will have to jump off at 9 um, for a phone interview with Chicago. John, please start the questions. Okay. Question, I guess it looks like 17. In an attempt at nationhood, what were some outward signs that Garvey's provisional government was well organized and on its way to accomplish great things? Good question. Tough question. I'm trying to think without looking in the book. Provisional government, this would have been early 1920s. Outward signs, there's great things. Maybe the Black Star Line. Um, I mean, I would also argue just the level of organization uh, of the UNIA throughout the world and its penetration, so to speak, in different nations would also have been a sign of great things to come. But those are my thoughts. Anybody else?
I, yeah, I was going to say the Constitution.
Constitution. Okay, that's a good one. Well organized. Yeah, that's a great one. Sign that we were organized and on our way to accomplish great things. Okay, we'll look at Garvey's provisional. Look at the answer. See what Sister Diane's got. Garvey's provisional government was well supplied with. Garvey's provisional government was well supplied with ambassadors and traveling commissioners. um, Garvey on his travels acted like a head of state, requesting and sometimes receiving interviews with such dignitaries as governor of British Honduras, president of Costa Rica. Garvey's delegations were even mistaken by the police for representatives of a sovereign state at the funeral of President Warren Harding. Beautiful.
Okay, that's even better.
Any questions on that? Question 18. In Garvey's own speculation on political theory, what kind of fault did he find with American democracy? Huh. Not sure. Anybody have anything?
That time, that was around. I'd have to be-
Garvey's own speculation on political theory. What kind of fault did he find with American democracy? Okay, then also.
I think at that time, democracy only worked for some people. It worked for the whole country.
You were breaking up, Brother Art.
Okay. I think that because democracy at that time didn't work for some people. Am I still breaking up?
A little bit.
Hold on. Okay, I think because democracy wasn't working for everybody.
Okay. What you mean by that?
Mean that some uh, some groups had more access to democracy.
Lost Brother Art. Brother Art. Okay. Um, Anybody else? While we wait for my internet connection. Okay, maybe it's me. Brother Art, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I think I had a little blip with my internet.
Okay, I just think it wasn't working for everybody. It was there was this little thing called separate but equal. And so it didn't work for everybody.
Okay. Anybody else?
That's what I
First,
think.
thank you, Brother Art. Anyone else want to give a shot at the answer? Garvey's speculation and Garvey's own speculation on political theory. What kind of fault did he find with American democracy?
I'll try it.
Greetings, Sister Diane. Welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what possessed it to do that, but I part of the thing was that um, democracy does not fully represent everyone because it does not take everyone to put the president in place. And he went on to talk about the executive and the judicial branch, the kind of checks and balance that they supposedly have was like, Caesar appealing to Caesar, that sort of thing. So because it does not take all of the people to put a democratic government in place, the government does not necessarily represent all the people.
Thank you. I think we've kind of went over the answer based on Sister Diane and Brother Art's responses. Sister Diane, you want to take over?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So Garvey said that often only a minority of the population vote for the president of the United States. So he does not necessarily represent the will of the majority. And furthermore, what I was saying about the executive controlling the judiciary and kind of like appealing from Caesar to Caesar.
Yep.
Okay, so we can take a look at question number 19. And Garvey had some of his own, political views. And there was an essay that he wrote, a short essay that was called Governing the Ideal State. And he had some things to say in that about absolute government. So if anybody remembers or want to take a shot at that, basically, what did he say about absolute government? Take a guess. Anyone?
I had to go to the text. I had to go to the book.
Okay.
Originally, I was
That's on page
thinking,
52.
yes. Originally, I was thinking contrary, that the government should not be absolute. In the sense of a democracy, to where there's a gray area is originally what I was thinking. But I read what Mr. Garvey said, and it seems like he disagreed.
I think that if we kind of try to put ourselves in Garvey's shoe, it's almost kind of like what the people, the Africans on the African continent, our brothers and sisters on the African continent are going through. I mean, they had a whole sovereign system, way that society functioned, that worked well and that worked beautifully for the people. And then their civilization was interrupted, so to speak. And it's kind of like they're trying to find a sweet spot in terms of the type of government that they want. They know for certainty that they don't want this so-called democratic government, because they see American foreign policy not only on the continent but elsewhere on the planet. So they know for sure they don't want that. So I think, Garvey's opinion might waver just slight bit, but I think in essence he was trying to find a sweet spot. That's kind of how I came away from it. But if no one wants to want to take a shot at it, we could take a look at the answer to number 19. That was my 2 cents. Anyone else? Can you guys hear me? Brother John?
Yes. Greetings.
Yeah,
Oh,
we hear
okay.
you.
I hear you, Sister. I had a
Okay.
phone call I had to take. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. No problem.
Yes, we can hear you, Present I. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm listening in because I'm on the move. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Great to have you always.
Thank you. Pleasure.
So if no one, yes. So if no one wants to take a shot, we'll look at that answer. And so go back up. So here it says government should be, and if anyone wants to read these answers, by all means, that's fine. But here it says that government should be absolute, and the head should be thoroughly responsible for himself and the act of his subordinates, and he should be the soul of honor. And when he is legal or properly found to the contrary, he should be publicly disgraced, put to death as an outcast and unworthy a representative of the righteous will of the people. So it sounds a little harsh, kind of, but if you see how, and I'll use Africa again, and I know that there's a lot of changes, a lot of great changes, and we see amazing leaders who get put down. You know, we know why. But we see, I mean, I could name leaders that are here with us today, you know, like Sankara and Magafuli and all these other leaders that are no longer with us, but we know was exemplary. So when you look at this stuff, it looks like it's kind of harsh, whatever, but you know that if that kind of happened to corrupt leaders, leaders that are selling out their people, leaders that are selling the birthright of the children of the nation, you know that stuff like that can continue, and you know that that kind of behavior is only doing a disservice to the whole. So I kind of could relate a bit, you know, when I read it, because I know that would be a huge deterrent from leaders to allow themselves to be used to sell out their people for 30 pieces of silver, so to speak. So I was thinking that's one way to curtail that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking when I was looking at that. Um, Anyone wants to add anything to that?
I would say that that is true democracy there at work, because the people or the leaders are held accountable. And the problem with this world is they use the term democracy, but they don't hold people accountable. People are able to get away with this and get away with that. So it's democracy by mouth, but you know, overlooking it depends upon your wealth and your power. Many things get overlooked and pushed under the rug, and they still talk about freedom, justice, and democracy when that really does not exist. But that is one way to keep the people accountable, or keep the leaders accountable to the people. If they know that, and they won't be so quick to go and turn their back on the people and forsake the people for a foreign entity, if they know that their personal lives will be held accountable. Race first.
Race first. Thank you for that. Absolutely. And sometimes the masterminders or the puppet leaders, you know, are some of the biggest champions of democracy in the
Right.
so-called free world. So yes, I agree as well. If no one else has anything to add, we can take a look at question number 20. Oh, wait, go back. I'm sorry. There were some other parts. There were some other points to number 19. I had some additional bullet points. So yes, so these are some other things that he was expounded on. He said the threat of instant recall and death should also hang over the heads of the ruler's subordinate officials. So not only the instigator, but the ones that are trailing behind to commit wrong acts against their nation and their people. And then
That's right.
also he says that, yes, and then he also says that rulers found to have abused their trust would be executed, and images of them should be made and placed in a national hall of criminology and ill fame.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Instead of a hall of fame, it's a hall of criminology and ill fame, and their crimes should be recited and cursed, pronounced upon them and their generations. Wow.
Yes.
So there you have.
That's justice there. True
There you
justice.
have it. Yes.
Yes, yeah, I remember those comments. I believe it Mr. Garvey's got a speech called titled "The Ideal State" in the Philosophies and Opinions. But he says that in addition to have a Hall of Fame and a Hall of Fame, there should be a Hall of not infamy, but or a Hall of Honor. It should be a Hall of Dishonor. We should make sure we are aware of the acts of treason that our people have committed and make sure they're remembered.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you look at, if we reflect on some of the crazy things that has happened, we know that we would be a lot further.
Yes.
But we can't cry over spilled milk. We have to just milk another cow and do our best moving on and do things better. So
the Western nations believe in corporate punishment also, because we all remember Benedict Arnold. When one of them betray their cause, they don't think twice about the justice that Marcus just gave to us a few minutes ago about exacting the highest price for betrayal, which is their life. And they have done it before, and they will continue to do it, because that's how nations keep control over the situation. Otherwise, one of our problems is that we don't have that authority, So we have people who will just, betray and for a minor sum, as the Minister Farrakhan said, a piece of chicken and a rub on the head, they will betray their own people with no consequences. So we have to start exacting consequences if we're going to actually become authority in the land. Race first.
absolutely, race first. Thank you for that, Brother Orman. And if no one else has anything to add, we can take a look at the next question. My English probably looks weird here, but it says, why did Garvey's thought on democracy led him inevitably to the consideration of capitalism and communism? So he's like reflecting on all of these systems of government. He's looking at democracy, he's looking at capitalism and communism, and he's thinking, man, the system of these other government might be a better system for Black people, might be a better system for the oppressed. So the question is trying to see, why was he coming to these kind of conclusions? Anyone take a shot at it?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I want to say the corruption in democracy, but you would get the same corruption in capitalism. That's a tough one. 53.
I would like to venture.
Go ahead.
Well, when you set up a government, you're going to have to fund your government. And after you fund your government, you're going to have to distribute the wealth of the government back to the people and to build the nation. So you would kind of need both of those factors in order for you to have something that is moving forward and growing and sustaining itself. That's my idea. Race first.
Okay. Race first. That was a good shot. Anyone else? If not, we can just go ahead and take a look at the answer.
Yes, let's see what Mr. Garvey has.
Or answers, yes. So he says that the concept of democracy is meaningless without relation to the economic system that's underpinning it.
Yes.
So, so in essence, yes, you can't really have one without the other. So it's almost like he was trying to find the best of both worlds, I think.
What did he say about communism? I didn't get a chance to read it. Did he mention anything?
I believe as we go further, he expound on it. It's like at the end of the day, he's coming to the conclusion that one extreme, any of them at their extreme is not like the best thing. Because you know, there is one where he just chastised Mussolini when he invaded Ethiopia, and there's different. You see, he's not really at one extreme or the other, but he likes certain aspect of some of these systems of government. Is what I gather from it.
Well,
So
I don't think that there are extremes because according to the dialectic, capitalism is supposed to eventually evolve into social communism and socialism. So right now, I think we're witnessing the end of that particular phase of government in the world because as you see, the economics that's going on out there, there's different groups that are breaking up to form a different system because the system that we're functioning under called plain out straight capitalism has found to be defunct, which means that it will take you, it speaks with forked tongue because as long as it's making progress for itself and fattening its corporate, it's fine. But it exists off of exploitation and denial of rights and a lot of other factors that are not good that will eventually cause it to destroy itself. So what we're watching is the fulfillment of the prophecies that were created from all the wickedness that was done in the name of capitalism. Race first.
100%, 100%, Brother Orman. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Okay, if no one else has anything to add, we can take a look at the answer to question 21. Our answers.
We didn't talk about 21 yet. We just did 20.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's do 21.
Yeah, that's
yes. How did Garvey, so we already did 20, we're just expounding on it. My bad.
Yeah.
So how did Garvey's disapproval of unrestrained capitalism extended to his own race? Anyone want to take a shot?
I hate to monopolize the conversation.
Go ahead.
Well, that's actually good. It's therein lies part of the answer about monopolizing. So you're on the right track. That's fine. Anyone can answer, and you can answer all of them if you want to. No rules.
Okay. Well, he saw how capitalism was manifesting itself and amongst our people, because at that same time, there was another group of people called the talented 10th, who were the educated so-called elite. Those people who had earned closer stance to the power structure, and they became his enemies, his rivals and enemies, because they had totally gone in for the capitalistic system and adopted themselves to the capitalistic system without keeping the people in mind. The grassroots people, they had their own, the talented 10th had their own club and still have their own club. So I guess he saw the disparities between the capitalism, and he saw that manifest in amongst us, and it was counter what Garvey was doing. So I guess he had a chance to take a good look at it from his point of view, because it eventually was able to create a massive amount of problems for Brother Marcus. Grace first.
First.
Race first. Thank you for that, Brother Orman. Anyone else? If not, we can take a look at the
Yeah.
answer
Yeah,
or answer.
I agree with Brother Ormond. Capitalism, it infected our people, and we became just as bad of capitalists
Right.
amongst ourselves as the white race. So that's it.
Exactly. So here's what Mr. Garvey was observation. He said while the white millionaires endowed charitable foundations and otherwise display some progressive characteristics, rich Black persons tend to be more parasitical and destructive to their own race. So at the time, that was kind of his observation.
Still present today, too.
Mhm. And I think, yeah, because, well, that could be a whole other topic, but yeah. So and he further expounded on that sentiment. So in the second part, he says that Garvey in 1924 expressed the idea as this way. He says that, quote, we have not only to fight the white capitalist, but we also have to fight the capitalistic Negro. He will sell his own people into hell the same as anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's like a sad observation right there. And then in the third part, he says, another time in 1929, he expressed in similar sentence again, because, you know, the problem persisted, of course. So he's saying the Negro or colored race is developing a class of millionaires or money hoarders much more dangerous to the race's life and existence than any similar group of men among other races. So no matter